Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver and welcome back to another episode of It's Look Who It Is. So, it's Look Who It Is. You know who it is, don't you? I mean, I'm expecting that you do, because it's Look. And really, that's what we're all here waiting for. So who are we gonna play? We haven't done a Toshiaki book run in a while, so why don't we do that? Why don't we do a Toshiaki book run as like a little treat? As like a little treat, we do like a little Toshiaki book run. I'm just repeating the same words that I'm saying over and over. Sorry to, you know, ruin the magic, as it were, the peek behind the curtain. I don't know, do like Gazoo or something. No. Ithutsu. That's the one. I'm gonna be honest, I had a pretty sleepy night today. It was the early evening, and I just kind of decided to, like, lie down. Yeah, I decided to go, like, sleepy pilled, and, just kind of, like, just relax. So I didn't really do anything today. I turned the Steam recording thing off, right? Yeah. So this video should be working. I didn't check before. I thought there was like a setting that you could do to make it only record certain games, but I haven't been able to figure that out yet. Because I would just have it record World of Horror off so that I wouldn't have to manually toggle it on and off over and over and over again. Because it's pretty cool on some games that I don't plan on recording. Because it's like if something cool happens, I can just clip it later. Although for some reason it doesn't work very well with my microphone. Like sometimes it works perfectly fine with my microphone, and other times it works like horribly wrong with my microphone, so I'm not entirely sure. It's a really neat feature though, even though it's a little janky. I mean, the fact that Steam's doing that, incredible, immaculate. Yet another thing that's just like Steam is so far ahead of every other online platform. Library notes. I'm not even gonna roll that, bud. There's no reason I should ever try to lose this. Like, I don't know if I don't know. Oh my god, that's the image. That's the image. I mean, sure, it'll be the image for this episode, I guess. Oh my god, I forgot that. I have to get like another funny. I have to get like another funny image for that. Sure, why not? But we'll use that for this episode. Here's the thing. It's like, people talk about monopolies on the online video game space a lot, where they're like, oh my god, can you believe Steam has like a monopoly? And it's like, Steam has a monopoly because it's the only one anyone wants to use. Like, Epic Games has to bribe you to use its platform. They give out free games. And it's like, they give out good free games because that's the only way people are gonna... Like, have you tried shopping on Epic Games Store? It's bad, right? Like, there was a game that I bought on Epic Games Store, I don't remember what it was called, and then I also did this for, like, the funny Fortnite money, because I wanted to buy the Say So dance. We'll do... I guess we could just do, like, Coma or something, you know? Coma and then painting? Sure, why not? But, like, I wanted to buy the funny say-so dance, so I, may or may not have, bought, funny Fortnite money at some point, in my life. And it's like, it's bad. Like, the shopping experience in Epic Games Store isn't good. It's really mid. Like, it's really mid. Like, it's disappointingly mid. And the thing is it just kind of like... The only other storefront that I've used that was, like, remotely acceptable was GOG. Like, GOG is good. Like, I like GOG. And it has a lot of nice features. And one of those things you don't really realize a lot of the time is if the game is older... and there's a version of it on GOG, and there's a version of it on Steam. Like, Mystery of the Druids is a perfect example of this. If you buy Mystery of the Druids on Steam, game doesn't work. You buy Mystery of the Druids on GOG, game works, because they applied a bunch of, like, patches to it on the, like, their retail copy, so the game functions straight out of the box, right? So GOG will do this thing where they will apply, I think in some cases, literally fan patches to games that they sell, so that you can, you know, play the game And like I like that a lot. I think that's really good. I do think that's really good. I bought games on GOG before, multiple games on GOG before. It's got nice features, but like I have had to use the Uplay store to play like For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege, and I've also had to use EA's abysmal dog shit store on whatchamacallit. Here's the thing. I don't know why I'm getting stun locked. We need more books. We need one more book. And then everything will be complete. And then we will just shrimply win. I mean, we're already in shrimply win territory. We're passing up so many good things, dude. We're passing up so many good things, brother, sister. We're passing up so many good things to get a Tome of Rot, but trust me, the stonks will go crazy. But like, Uplay is bad. Objectively so, Uplay just sucks. It's unintuitive, the storefront is awful to navigate. Genuinely horrible piece of software. I have no idea who designed it. Absolutely abysmal. EA Origin is probably somehow even worse and even more offensive, and I've had to use EA Origin because of whatchamacallit. That's why we didn't sell the handcuffs initially, is in case we lose money. It's always in the -2s, and you can't go into debt in Shiikawa Town. Watch that. That's actually, you know, objectively true. There's no game mechanic where you go into the negatives for money, but you know, I think Jar of Blood guy is like, yo, our company helps people get out of debt. Give me your blood. And then he steals your blood. But I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, EA Origin, like the EA Origin storefront it's abysmal dog shit. I remember trying to buy one of the Sims games. I don't remember which one it was. Second Enemy Anatomy Horror, by the way. Yikes. Although this isn't actually that bad. I mean, we could maybe take that as like we could just get hit here. Unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna have to run away from that. If we could do the thing twice, because it's like, we could, like, this is 9. So this doesn't get us there, that doesn't get us there. We'd have to do 2 of these. I mean, we could go gambling. We could go gambling. Let's go gambling for old time's sake. Oh, for old time's sake, for me and you, Rutsu. It doesn't really matter, by the way. We would have easily steamrolled the Doom regardless. We can run away, basically to any fight without thinking about it. And in fact, missing that dodge would have put us in a more precarious situation than, I don't know, like running from like 3 fights in a row. But, like, EA Origin, I wanted to buy something for For Honor, I'm pretty sure, and I wanted to buy one of the Sims games. And it was the worst. It was abysmal dog shit. It was one of the worst storefronts I've ever used in my life. It's confusing, it's unintuitive. Oh, you know what? I also had to use it for, the Joseph Ferris games, A Way Out and It Takes Two, right? Because those were on EA Origin first. And so my friend and I had to buy It Takes Two and A Way Out on Origin when they came out, because they were EA Origin exclusive for a long time. That's what it was. Although, like, I did try to buy The Sims as well, and that was really annoying. But, like, buying those games was just, like, one of the worst shopping experiences of my life. Like, it was difficult to find the games in just, like, navigating the app, and then the checkout process was a goddamn nightmare, and it just, like, Steam makes it so goddamn easy, you know what I mean? Steam makes it so goddamn clean, easy, and simple. There's nothing. And like Steam is such a well-optimized storefront, kind of. It takes 80 years to load the Steam store page sometimes, but, like, dear God. Like, there's a reason why everyone who can use Steam uses Steam. It's because everything else is abysmal dog shit, and there really is no comparison. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but it's true. What if we did Flood? What if we did Frightening Flood, huh? You ever think about that? What if we did Frightening Flood second? We do a little bit of gambling. For me and you, Rootsu. Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about what happens when you go gambling? Because I think about what happens when I go gambling all the time. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. I mean, we should get the, probably the -2 to damage that we take, and then just kind of ball, right? Or sorry, that's bonus damage that we deal. We can only get -1. Oh, 3 investigations on the school in order to get the ally? You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it, chat. You 100% hate to see it. But we did level up, so I'm pretty happy about that. That's a better weapon than what we have right now, but I don't think we can... What does Crudy's kill do in this fight? The cure is the correct thing to take, but I'm curious. I'm curious. Consider me fascinated. Consider me genuinely curious of what this is going to do. I mean, we don't even need to, like... I'm curious, alright? I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I was gonna get the -1, but let's see it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Damn, it kills everybody. Alright. I mean, 5 net doom to kill one of the most tough, like, one of the most dangerous bosses in the game. And we're... that's... I mean, we can take that if we want to. I mean, you know, we definitely can. We could go do Metamorphosis after this, or we could accidentally click and fight this boss if we want to as well. Maybe we should just see Crudy's kill stonks, because it's like... It is, like, usable. It's really usable. It's 5 net doom every time we cast it. You don't want to use it on a normal enemy, but you could use it on a boss. It's pretty justifiable. Because it's basically like getting the clear condition for a boss for the cost of running away from a boss. Like, it's pretty good, honestly. That's pretty, like, respectable. You know what I mean? We don't need the chainsaw. I would rather have the flashlight. The problem is, like, I don't want to lose a book, so we'll just put the flashlight on later. If we need a light source here, we already have one. But my light burn achievement. Like, here's the thing. Another thing about online storefronts, right? Is for... I don't use Battle.net anymore. I don't have Battle.net anymore because I don't play Blizzard games. Journey to Ungoro rotated out of Hearthstone. Those were my favorite decks. Those were my favorite ways to play Hearthstone. That was the only reason I still had Battle.net installed. I ain't playing WoW. I ain't playing Overwatch. Diablo 3 was boring as hell. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm okay to not have Battle.net installed on my computer. You know, it's like, and I can't even, I've done this, like, rant, like, 80 times before, but I can't take the Lee Epic-based principled stance of, like, oh, yeah, I'm too cool for Blizzard because they're an awful company. It's like, I play Call of Duty. I have Black Ops 3. I like Black Ops 3. Zombies are fun. And then also, like, whatchamacallit, I play League of Legends. if you're mad about how the video game industry treats women, which you should be, but if you're mad about how the video game industry treats women, and you're like, I need to take a principled stance against companies that mistreat women regularly, I don't know what to tell you, brother. I don't know what to tell you, sister. Arcane's, like, one of the most popular TV shows right now. And it's like, you know, Riot Games is, like, one of the only... So here's the thing. There's a very funny thing in America where you can basically, like, for a company, do whatever the hell that you want, but as long as your justification for that is not an illegal justification, you're okay, right? So a great example of this is the pay gap, right? So a lot of companies, they'll pay female employees less than male employees, right? But they'll say that it's for experience or job position or something like that, right? And so they'll lie about it, and it's perfectly legal because you can't prove, even though that is obvious, that they're doing it based on your gender, right? Riot Games is so objectively evil and stupid that they admitted to that. They admitted legally, like in like a court, that the reason they paid people less was because they were women. And the reason why they didn't listen to some of their employees and abuse them was because they're women. That is how hilariously evil Riot Games is. And it's just so funny. It's so funny to me, dude. It's so funny to me. Because it's like, Blizzard, they had some real demons working there, right? Like, they had some real demons there. But, like, Riot Games was just comically evil, and Blizzard was, like, not funny comically evil, I guess. Like, they were demonically evil, and Riot Games was just, like, frat bro, boy evil, if that makes sense. Like, listen, some of this shit, like, obviously the Blizzard thing was the biggest part of the news, right? And a lot of this Riot Games stuff got swept under the rug because, ironically, a lot of it came out at around the same time Arcane did. So most games media outlets were covering how good of an adaptation Arcane was, which I will also maintain for as long as I goddamn live, that Arcane is fundamentally a bad adaptation because of how it works for the wider League of Legends world and story. I'll die on that hill every single goddamn time. It's an amazing show, don't get me wrong, but it's a dog shit adaptation because in order for it to be a canon adaptation, which Riot made it canon, the entire League of Legends lore and story has to be retconned around Arcane existing. And listen, Arcane's amazing. I just wish there's a reason why they stopped doing these things, because they were kind of dumb and all over the place. But League of Legends used to have this thing where they would make like a skin line for something, like Star Guardian, right? And then they would make a Star Guardian universe where it's like, this is the Star Guardian universe, and everything is Star Guardian themed. And so all the villains are, Star Nemesis, and then all of the heroes are Star Guardians, right? So, at least in my opinion, I thought that was cool, and I liked it because you had all these, like, different multiverse stuff going around, and I thought it was really neat. But the thing is, it was a mess, and it was all over the place, and a lot of it was undercooked and underdeveloped. So when Arcane came out, and it was like this, like, gritty, low-er magic setting, because for some reason, magic is not, like, a common part of everybody's day-to-day lives, and Hex Tech is completely different. Listen, if you want to know how much of a League of Legends psycho I am, I remember when Hex Tech was Skarner's murdered people, and they were killed by, it was Camille's house, right? Like, Camille's house went in there, killed them all, and then, like, harvested their souls to fuel Hex Tech. And, like, here's the thing, don't get me wrong, Jason Victor had a big part in Hex Tech. It's just that, they didn't invent it, because you can't really invent killing a bunch of crystal scorpions and then harvesting their souls for... That was kind of a Camille thing, I'm pretty sure. And then Seraphine had such a big element to it as well. And Riot Games basically made her completely evil accidentally because they just didn't expand upon it. because Seraphine's special ability let her hear Skarner's people, their souls, because the Brackern were like this thing where they one of those fictional species where the new person like obtains like the title and memories, like a reincarnation thing basically. They obtain like the title and memories of their whatchamacallits, their like predecessor, and then they assume that role. And so it's like your soul, even when you die, persists, and that soul was powerful enough to, you know, fuel and become what Hextech was. And so obviously that wouldn't work for the story that Arcane created, because, you know, if you've watched Arcane, you're probably pretty surprised to hear that Hextech was originally the souls of a bunch of Crystal Scorpion people who were murdered by Camille. Is Camille even in Arcane? And is Seraphine in Arcane? I don't think they're in Season 1, that's for sure. There are a lot of original characters in Arcane. And, listen, don't get me wrong, Arcane is a masterpiece. It's really good. If they made, like, a cinematic League of Legends universe where things were more grounded and down to earth and, like, it was a lower magic setting, I think that would work really well. But the thing is, they don't want to do that, because then that would mean that Arcane is a secondary thing, and Arcane is so big that it's the primary thing, you know? It's the most... like, Arcane is, like, probably legitimately one of the most important things that League of Legends has going on right now, because this might surprise you. And actually, let's do something fun that we haven't done in, like, 80 years on this mystery, huh? I hope I don't have, like, 4 things in... I hope I don't have, like, 80 million things in my stored items so this gets owned here, but we can do... Wait, hold on, let me back out of the menu so this actually counts. Perfect. I'm not taking the smelly meat. I don't care, but I just wanted to do the side quest because we haven't done that in a long time. But, like... Arcane, like, here's the thing, League of Legends is, like, kind of stagnating and dying a little bit. Like, if you look at the, like, pro scene, right, like, unless it's a big league that everyone's paying attention to, the production value is just, like, absolutely dog shit. Like, I watched the, like, NA Challengers, which, the NA Challengers, like, were, like, the teams were fine, don't get me wrong. Well, actually, you know, they were NA Challenger teams, so... Listen, they're better than anything I could ever do in League of Legends, alright? I could never beat I could never beat the worst NA Challenger player, okay? But, I'm bad at the game. I'm trash, alright? But, like, you know, it's one of those things where, like, you're a sports fan, and you can't play the sport, but then you watch somebody play the sport badly, and you're like, ah, what a dumbass. But, it's kind of like, you know, the teams were fine. The games were fun to watch, right? The games were really fun to watch. I enjoyed watching the NA Challengers League. The problem was, the production value was just dog shit. And they're playing online? Like, can you believe that shit? Like, that's how low budget this is? Like, these are people who could potentially be scouted for, like, major teams that have, like, you know... like, several years, if not, like, a decade of, like, competitive... maybe even more than a decade, right? Because League of Legends has been around since, like, what, 2009? So it's like, you could have a legendary team that has so much history recruiting from this, you know, pool of people. And you have this shit, and they're playing over the internet? And they only get to play on the stage in the finals? And something that is a huge element in the NA Challenger series is that a lot of players, when they get to the stage for the first time, they break. So the better team can lose because it's the more experienced team who can focus under those conditions of having crowds cheering and bright lights shined in your face. And cameras stuck in your face too. So it's actually more of the performance that you can, like, lock in under camera over your actual skill. That shit's crazy, dude! if we're being realistic here, they should all... If you make it into a Challenger Series that's like an official Riot Games sponsored tournament, your ass should be playing on the stage every single time. I think it's ridiculous. And here's the thing: if you're in the industry and you're like, if you know these teams, you're in the industry, and you're involved with all this stuff, you're gonna clearly say, well, that's not feasible, that's not financially viable. That's the point that I'm trying to make. League of Legends is one of the biggest esports scenes in the world, right? And it doesn't have the money to fly its own players out to a goddamn stage just because they're not gonna get many views? It's like, come on, man. What a joke. Like, obviously, it's not the fault of the players or the organizers or anything like that. It's the fault of the company. But, like, it's just, you know, League of Legends is stagnating. And the reason why it's stagnating is that the only way that you can get into it is if you have a friend who is willing to hold your hand for like 300 hours of games, and then you can finally start playing to like a basic acceptable level. There's a very funny thing in League of Legends where, and I think the developers have talked about this candidly, which is like, if we banned people who we thought were trolling or inting, we would ban every single new player who started the game. Because League of Legends has so much intricacies, it's a genre that requires so much knowledge and game. It's like, there's so many things that you have to learn about. I don't, it was the Ghost. It was the anatomy horror. I remember that. There are so many things about League of Legends. First of all, never play League of Legends, all right? Never play League of Legends. At all. Never play League of Legends. Don't ever play League of Legends. Don't play Dota 2. Don't play League of Legends. Don't play Smite. Don't play MOBAs. Don't do it. Don't, Heroes of the Storm was just genuinely a good time, but that's fucking dead. Probably. But don't play Heroes of the Storm either, even if it is still alive. Don't do it. You wanna know why? It's very shrimple. It's very, 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 very shrimple, okay? MOBAs require so much effort, so much work, so much time, dedication. I think more so than any other genre, maybe RTS games. But the thing is, you can enjoy RTS games casually, right? Like, I am not a RTS game Andy, but I can have fun with StarCraft, you know? I had fun playing StarCraft 2. I've had fun... I'm a RTS casual, okay? I'm gonna leave it at StarCraft 2, even though my most played RTS was Halo Wars, and that game was completely and utterly unbalanced and horribly broken to the point where multiplayer was just like, what cheese strategy do you go with for what point in the game, and do you win with your cheese strategy? But, like, a casual player can have fun with an RTS game, but a casual player I don't think can have fun with a MOBA. Because there's only so much fun you can have against bots, and also, you know, like, there's only so much fun that you can have with bots, and the real game is, like, playing against other people, right? And it's such a competitive, all-encompassing, you need to be locked in, you need to be focused, you can't take a break in the middle of a match, you know, like, in, like, a Call of Duty game, if you just, like, spawn... And like, you're playing, like, Team Deathmatch in Call of Duty or something, you spawn, you need to go get something real quick, you can just get up and walk away, it's fine. Oh, somebody kills you? Oh, it's 1 kill for the enemy team out of, like, 40, without, like, 50 kills, like, oh no. Like, that's fine, you know, it's like, it's not really a big deal, but League of Legends, there's so much focus and attention that you have to put to the game, and you have to also not only know the champion that you're playing, but you have to know every single champion on the enemy team, because every single champion in League of Legends is bullshit, and they can all do stupid things that can get you killed, right? And just completely, like, screw you over if you don't have intimate knowledge about the abilities and general capabilities and limitations of every champion on the enemy team, and on your team as well. Because, you know, you could be, like, fighting a 1v2, and then over the wall is some guy on your team, and there's like 50% chance that guy can't get over the wall and has to walk around. So if you try fighting that, expecting him to be able to help you, Can't do it. And there's like a 50% chance the guy can just jump over the wall and beat the shit out of them and turn the tide because he's an assassin and you've set up a perfect a double kill for him, you know? And that's just if, like, he's just a dude walking around with melee attacks, you know? If they're a mage, are they gonna be able to get over there? Or are their spells in range? What do their spells do? Are their spells, like, big circle AoEs, or are they line AoEs, you know? You don't know these things. You don't know these things when you're playing, and it makes the game insanely frustrating, because you don't know your own limitations, and then you don't know the limitations of your teammates either, and then you're basically just fighting, like, an unknowable entity that has, like, 4 distinct abilities, if you're lucky, that you have to learn and play around, you know? Like, if you're a new player, and you're fighting somebody who has some experience in the game, and they're playing Darius, and it's a 1v1 top lane, depending on his skin, you might literally get dunked on with, like, an actual basketball. I don't know what to say. You know, don't play League of Legends. It's insanely frustrating. But the thing is, because League of Legends is insanely frustrating and it's insanely difficult to get into, the only way that you can get into it is if you have a friend getting you into it, or if for some reason you want to play it. And so Riot Games was very smartly trying to reach out and expand the Runeterra IP, where they were doing, like, a Song of Nunu, like a third-person adventure game where you played as Nunu and Willup, and you met a bunch of Freljordian characters, right? Or, you know, like, they're very wisely trying to branch out and expand, because League of Legends is not self-sufficient forever, because, I don't know, the players hate the game, and it's an insanely toxic game to like, get into and try to learn. You should never get into League of Legends, ever. And it's like, Arcane has been their hit thing, so it's like, of course, they want Arcane to be the main focus. They want to change Runeterra lore to fit Arcane, not the other way around, because Arcane is peak fiction, and it's the greatest thing that they've ever done with the story. Except for Rammus's short story. That is the greatest thing that they've ever done with the League of Legends intellectual property for storytelling. Arcane is second, but Rammus's short story is the greatest thing that they've ever done. Okay? Alright. But more seriously, it makes perfect sense that what Riot would want to do is, Arcane is the greatest thing that we've ever made. We need to make this the main thing, and then we need to continue down this line forever. Like, they found their new line to keep the League of Legends IP alive and their lights on. But yeah, just, like, look at the degradation of the pro scene, and how, like, that's been going, and then you're like, yeah... Like, sure, this is what you asked... Heavy is the crown, this is what you asked for, feat Linkin Park, is a banger, and the music video is great, but under the surface, everything is held up with, like rickety boards, and rusty nails, and worn duct tape, and crystallized super glue that looks like it could snap at any time, and you're like, ah, yeah. Shit's rancid. But anyways, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, have a good one. Arcane Season 2 is apparently really good. I just absolutely love how, they took Vi, Caitlyn, and Jinx out of all characters, and then created, like, one of the most emotionally gripping dramas the wider world has ever seen. God bless, God bless. Stay safe out there, have a good one, bye.